Hello everyone, welcome to ITHorizon. In today's video, we are going to discuss about how to set up the Odoo 19 development environment using PyCharm in Ubuntu. Setting up a proper development environment is a first step towards building a customizing powerful Odoo application. If you are a developer working on Odoo 19 and prefer using PyCharm for its intelligent code assistance and debugging features, this guide is for you. In this tutorial, we will walk you through the complete process of setting up an Odoo 19 development environment on Ubuntu using PyCharm, from installing the necessary dependencies and configuring PostgreSQL to running Odoo smoothly inside your IDE. By the end, you will have a fully functional workspace ready for developing, testing, and managing Odoo modules efficiently. In order to use the PyCharm for Odoo development, you must first install the required packages and libraries. In addition, the process involves handling project dependencies, setting up the Python environment, and getting started with PostgreSQL ready. Let's now go through these first steps to ensure that your system is configured correctly and prepared for Odoo development. The step 1 is to install the PyCharm IDE. To move on with the PyCharm installation, your system must meet certain requirements. You must have RAM with a minimum of 4 GB, free RAM, and the recommended RAM is 8 GB of total system RAM. You must have a CPU with any modern CPU, and the recommended one is multiple CPU, as the PyCharm performance increases with the number of CPU cores available, since it makes use of multi-threading to manage many tasks and processes. You must have at least 3.5 GB of disk space, and it's recommended to use at least 5 GB of empty space on your SSD drive. And you can just move on with the operating system, and it can be Microsoft Windows 10 or Windows Server 2019 or later, Mac OS or later, or any other Linux distributions that support GNOME and KDE or UnityDE are officially available in 64-bit version. But the recommended one is this latest 64-bit version of Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. So once the requirements are met, you can move on with the PyCharm installation by downloading the Debian package file from the JetBrains website, which can be found with this link. PyCharm can be also installed straight from the command line using the following command. But you need to launch the terminal. To launch the terminal, you can use Ctrl-Alt-T. Once it's been set, you can just copy the code from here. So here you can see the code, and let's move on to the tab and let me choose the code. Once it's been provided, you can provide the password of your system and upgrade the PyCharm, and finally install the PyCharm community and click on enter. Once the installation is done, you can search for PyCharm over here and you would be able to see PyCharm is successfully installed. Now we need to install the Python. To install the Python, Ubuntu default repository do not contain Python 3.12. Hence, an external source is needed. Updated Python version including Python 3.12 are available through the TEDSnake PPA on the Launchpad. So you can use these commands to install the Python. So I'll be using the commands and use Ctrl-Shift-V to copy it and click on enter. Again, click on enter to continue the process. Now you can use the following command to verify that the Python package has been updated. Now you can use the following command to verify the most recent list of Python packages. Now to continue the process, use Y and click on enter. Now install the necessary Python 3 package requires the following command. And again choose Y to continue the process. The third step is to install the web dependencies. You can copy each code and install it in the terminal. Now provide the next command. Again provide the other command and click on enter. Now again provide the next command. And the fourth step is to install the wkhtmltopdf. So using the following command, this would install the wkhtmltopdf in order to enable the report generation in Odoo. So you can just get the command. Once it's been set, you then move on to the installation of the PostgreSQL. So to move on with the next action, that is to install the PostgreSQL, the database system that Odoo uses, you can go with the following command. Now use Y to continue the process. Configure a database user role for Odoo databases. Use the instruction to create a new database user. Give this user a password and keep it safe because you will need it to set up the configuration file later. So here you can give the password for new role and you can enter 8 billion. And the next is to give the selective user account super right and give the super rights over here using the following command. And finally, you must exit PostgreSQL and user session and the PSQL shell. And the sixth step is to get Odoo 19 source code. You may find the Odoo 19 community source on Odoo's GitHub site. Git is another way to clone it. Install the Git first by running the following command. After that, clone the Odoo code into Odoo 19 directory in your home folder by running the following command. Now you can open the cloned Odoo project in PyCharm. Now, anyway, I confirm that I have read and accept the terms of this user agreement and click on continue and choose Don't Send. And here you can move on to open the Odoo 19 and choose OK and choose Trust Project. As we don't want to create the virtual environment automatically, you can cancel it and we can create the virtual environment manually. Once it's done, we need to move on to the terminal. So either you can use the Alt F12 to move on to the terminal, or you can also get the terminal from here. Once it's been set, you need to provide a command to move on with the creation of the virtual environment. Here's the following command to install. Here's the following command to create a virtual environment, work Python 3.12. Now click on enter, and afterwards provide the command. So here you can see that we are unable to locate the Python 3.12 as we have made a slight spring mistake over here. So correct this ending and click on enter. Once it's done, you can move on to the creation of UN. For that, you can provide the command. Now, when you restart the terminal, your virtual environment will be automatically activated. You will see if name displayed in the terminal prompt. Or if the virtual environment does not activate automatically, you can enter the following command to activate it manually. So that you can see that when providing the command Autowind was activated. Now immunity instance required Python packages. So Odoo requires multiple Python packages specified in the requirements.txt file within the Odoo 19 directory. Install can by running the following command. .txt, use Ctrl+C to get the file name and paste it over here. Once it's done, hit on enter. If there are no errors, you can run the following commands to confirm that all dependencies specified in the requirements.txt have been installed correctly. If any errors occur, open the requirements.txt file and install each package into S3 with the following command. Now we need to create the odoo.conf file in the following Odoo 19 directory. So move on to the Odoo 19 directory. Click on right button of your mouse and move on to new. And choose the file over here and provide the name of the file as odoo.conf. Once it's done, you can click on enter. Now we need to provide the following code into it. So currently I have provided the code and ensure that you have updated the add-ons path over here. To update the add-ons path, you can move on to the add-ons over here. Use Ctrl+Shift+C in order to get the exact path and paste it over here. Once it's done, also ensure that you have provided the password. So once you create the PostgreSQL and the user, you know that we provided a password there. That password must be given over here as a TP password. And afterwards, we need to set the Python interpreter. To set the Python interpreter, we can move on to this settings. And in this settings, here we can find Python. Upon choosing Python, here we have the option to choose interpreter. And here choose add interpreter and choose add local interpreter. Now here you can see that we can create a new interpreter. So you would be able to see this. Now upon creating a new interpreter, you can click on OK and move on with the creation of the interpreter. If you have an interpreter over here, you can just go with select existing one. But right now we don't have a new one. So I'll be moving on with the Python 3.12 as the interpreter. Now let me choose that and click on OK. Now we need to configure the project in PyCharm. To configure that, first let's click on Apply and let's click on OK. Once everything is done, move on with Current, File and choose Edit Configuration. Click on the plus icon and here you have Python and change the name into odoo19. And here we need to set the script. So under this script, we need to provide the odoo bin file. So choose odoo19. Under the odoo19, here we will have the odoo bin. Choose it and click on OK and provide the script parameter. So under this script parameter, we have to provide -c odoo.conf, that is the configuration file, odoo configuration file, and you can also set the working directory. So the working directory is odoo19 and choose it. Once everything is done, you can click on Apply. Now run the file. So once you run, if you are not getting the error, you can move on to the browser. And in the browser, open new tab and choose localhost 8019. And here you can see that we are going to create the database, and here you can set the master password. Either you can use this master password, or upon moving on to the odoo configuration, you would be able to see the master password over here. Now what you have to do is you need to provide the name of the database. I would like to set it as odoo19, and you can provide the email and password. So I'll be setting the email and password over here. Once it's been set, if you want to enable the demo data, you can enable it and click on Create Database. And so here you can see that we have successfully installed odoo19. And to activate a module, you can click on Activate. So currently we have successfully installed the sales module. And if you want to move on to the module, here you can see that we have successfully installed the odoo19 sales module. Now you can just move on with the testing, managing the functional sites and development part of odoo19. So thank you for watching the video.